Hello, everybody. This is Auntie, and I am here to do a quick, and I mean quick, recap of 90 Day Last Resort, Season 3, Episode 7, The Last Noble Truth. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what I talk about. Okay, to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining this family. I appreciate you being here and hitting that subscribe button. To all of my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. If y'all see me scratching, it's because I took my dogs out and oh my God, the mosquitoes have torn my tail up. And so I am sitting up here trying not to keep on scratching. Some of them I can't even reach it. Oh my God, y'all, you talking about somebody itching. Anyway, let's talk about it. It's not a lot to talk about in this episode, but there's a lot to talk about in this episode. So, as we all know, they all have been dropped off in the woods, and nobody really wanted to be with Shekinah after the incident between her and Thais at the bar and grill. And so Shekinah and Sopper are hooked up with Jenny and Sumit. The person I wouldn't have wanted to be around was Rebecca, but we're going to get to that. And so they are all, having to get to this campground, and they've already eaten and, all of that kind of stuff, the peanut butter on the stick and all that kind of stuff. And then we get, to the campground. And of course, Jenny Sumit, Shekinah, and Sop are the first ones there. And we find out something very interesting about Shekinah when she gets there. She is putting up the tent and she begins to talk about her childhood and how she was raised up as an Amish child. Her parents did not have a lot of money, and so they adopted the Amish lifestyle. She said no, they were not Amish, but she talked about the hard times and stuff like that, and in which she grew up. And I thought that was very interesting. I don't know about y'all. Maybe y'all have done more research, stay on Reddit, whatever. But I absolutely was shocked by it. I thought it was a very interesting story, and I think that it for me it gave me some insight on who Shekinah really is and why Shekinah is the way that she is. It appears that since she grew up in such a lifestyle, if you will, basically living rough on the land with her family. They show pictures and everything. Now that Shekinah has arrived, she has a different resilience. And so even though, she plays tough on the outside, she is soft on the inside, and she's a bruised young lady. Like, she's really messed up in the head. And nevertheless, they get up there. She starts putting the tent together. I noticed that Sofa was standing around for the most part. Although I didn't see him doing a lot of activities with Shekinah, I did see him like basically helping Sumit get the tent up, because at this point, right, we don't know, or Jenny says that she did not know she had ALS. She knew something was going on, but she didn't know that that's what it was. And so the next couple that gets up there is it Rebecca and Zied and Patrick and Thias, I think, were the next ones that got up there. And she didn't know what she was going, what she was doing and stuff like that. Right. And then the last but not least is Paola and Russ and Carrie and Guillermo. So anyway, we're going to get past all of that. I just wanted to let y'all know that that's how they got up the hill. And so the black council, I can't think of what his name is. he is holding a fireside couples therapy. My whole thing is, when I look at Jenny and Sumit, I think that they too old to be doing couples therapy like that. It bothers me because I know that if I was really having problems with my man, and I felt like, okay, our relationship may not survive, I think that I would prefer to be in, if I was doing real therapy. Let me say that. If I was doing real therapy, I would not want all of this input from different people. I think that it is both constructive and destructive when other couples are adding their 2 cents or more. In particular, when when Rebecca was going back and forth with Zied, Guillermo shouldn't have said anything. He should not have justified that she needs a job. Bitch, everybody need a job. So I didn't understand why Guillermo came in. I think that sometimes people are projecting and giving their own advice as it relates to their relationship, because I saw him and what you call him, and I just was like, shut up. This woman is walking around, in my opinion, with so much testosterone. Guillermo, Zied understands the culture that he came from and the culture that he's in. This argument between the two of them is bigger than you jumping in and saying she needs a job. It's also bigger than this counselor sitting up there saying you want a traditional. No, he said what he meant, and he meant what he said. And I don't like the fact that they dismiss what people say. Anyway, I'm gonna calm down. I don't like it at all. Stand down and let the people handle their stuff. So Jenny and Sumit opened up. Sumit indicated that he had some things that he needed to say, some revelations that he was going to make, and Jenny didn't know anything about it. And he felt like these revelations would be detrimental to the health of their relationship, and that Jenny might leave him. So Sumit is sitting there and he comes out his trick bag and he talks about his living condition. He says that he and Jenny decided to go in and move with the parents. It is my assumption that Sumit was not working. Ever since Jenny catfished Sumit, Sumit ain't been working. Remember when she met him, he was like a telemarketer for repaired phones or something like that. Sumit has never really been able to hold down a job. And it's just despicable. Because Jenny went over there with a retirement check, and I think she was saying that her retirement check was like $600 a month. So it appears that this retirement check that Jenny was getting from America was basically paying for everything for her and Sumit. And now Sumit is saying that he, of course, lost his job. The family opened up a restaurant on a wing and a prayer, and that was closed. And I remember when I reported on one of my videos that the restaurant was closed, people was disputing it. I told them that I had looked up that restaurant and that it was not existent. It didn't exist. Anyway, I digress. So Sumit now says that the parents was paying the rent at first when they moved into the home. And then he picked up, the parents stopped paying. So here we're thinking that Jenny and Sumit are living with the parents, but the parents are living with Jenny. If y'all remember at the beginning, the brother and the sister, oh my God, these mosquito bumps is tearing me up. At the beginning, the brother and the sister was already living there, and Jenny and Sumit ended up moving in, and so all of them were living together. As we saw in the show, they ended up getting a brand new apartment. It was a brand new apartment that they ended up moving in. Remember, they had a little housewarming and stuff. So who was paying that rent? Was that Jenny and Sumit's rent? Was that their apartment? And Sumit made Jenny believe that she was moving in with the parents' apartment when all the time it was Sumit's apartment? Is Sumit's credit bad and he can't obtain an apartment, and so the parents get the apartment in their name and then Sumit pays the bills on it? He sat up there and said that he got like what, $20,000 in loans, and he ain't told Jenny nothing. And he respects her and loves her enough to tell her at a camp in front of strangers from other 90 Day Fiance shows. And while Jenny wasn't diagnosed at this time, they knew something was going on. And so it makes it even sadder because Jenny got ALS. Sumit is probably tapped out on how much funds he can get, which explains why they asking for a GoFundMe. Because he squandered away $20,000. He says that he wanted Jenny to see how it is to live there, what the custom is, how she's supposed to live. But isn't it custom that the man work and that the woman stays at home? Isn't it customary, Submit, for you to have a job, not be in debt? If y'all remember when Jenny and Sumit were together and she found out that he was married and all of that kind of stuff, all of the restitution that Sumit had to pay, his parents paid it. Sumit ain't never had no money. He's never had any money. And he has this older woman from the United States living in the house. And Jenny was like, so what is the need of us living together if it's our apartment and they staying with us? All this time, he's had her under the illusion that they was living with the parents. Let me see if I take this off. Well, no, just leave it alone. I don't know why I'm freezing, but I am. Smith ain't about nothing. Like every little bit of. Let me stop lying. I've never respected Smith. From the day that Jenny was introduced on the very first show that we watched together and was laying back at that pool talking to this telemarketer, I've never liked him. It's sad, but it's true. I've never liked Cement. Jenny got frustrated and went on downtown to the tent. The next couple they talk to is Patrick and Thais. Patrick is extremely insecure. He makes the money. He wants to live this upper middle class lifestyle. He has this beautiful wife that he has to keep beautiful. And he's extremely insecure. Now, we saw a couple of episodes where Thais came into the bedroom and got sick on the stomach. I personally believe it is the food. By this time, if she was pregnant, we would have known. but I thought it was the food. Of course, they want to spin the storyline to make us think that Patrick thinks she's pregnant. Patrick, no, that girl ain't pregnant by him. So he asked her, "Do you think you're pregnant?" And she didn't know how to answer it. And she just said, "I don't know." But still in yacht, she's climbing every mountain. Her and Patrick begin to talk about, this trip that she had taken to get all these surgeries and stuff done. And he believes that she's still lying. And so now they're going to bring in his brother because his brother, of course, we saw that on the show that the brother got really close with the father. The two of them remain close. And the father alluded to the fact that there's something going on. Okay. I call the brother Sparkle. So Sparkle went to Patrick and told him, "I know more about your marriage. I know some things that you don't know." And now they're going to be bringing Patrick because Patrick is making accusations. And Thais is saying, "Prove it. If you think I'm cheating, if you think something's going on, prove it." So the bullshit is going to continue. The couple I really want to talk about is Rebecca. Rebecca act like a man. She act like a whole dude. And I don't understand why she's so mannish. They asked Zied, "What's the problems and issue?" Well, okay, wait a minute. Let me make sure I don't have another copy. Okay, Jenny and Sumit, Patrick and Thais. They didn't talk to Pal. They didn't talk to Kiera. They didn't talk to Sapa and Jenny. I mean, Sapa and Shekinah, right? It was Rebecca and Zied. I think the cast has gotten to the point where they're scared of her. I think that they have realized that she is very mannish. I think that Zied has no power in this relationship. And I hate to say what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. I hope he is cheating and getting some. I hope he is cheating and getting some kind of satisfaction, some kind of love, some kind of devotion. hmm I hope he is cheating in Virginia. I hope when he makes that 450 mile drive that it's worth it to him, that he gets an opportunity to have a good night's sleep, laying in somebody's arms or between somebody's legs. I hope that he is getting everything that he desires because he ain't getting it from Rebecca. This man can't even talk. He can't try to communicate without this woman acting as if she gonna jump on him at any minute. He looked like he is living in fear of his life. And it makes you want to jump through the screen. They asked Zied about the marriage. Zied says that basically he's tried to talk to Rebecca, but he wants more in his relationship. Specifically, he wants what he calls a real wife. That was a trigger word for her. The doctor has already told them and has spoken with her and told her there is a communication gap in the words that he chooses to use because it needs to be interpreted. He doesn't really know the English language as well. So, you can say ready and then you can say ready. You can say read and you can say read, right? They're spelled different, they have different meanings. He doesn't understand that. And that's why they say that the English language is very hard to understand, right? Because there are words that sound the same but have total different meanings to them. He said he wants a real wife. She goes the hell off because she's so pompous and so controlling, so rude and so nasty. She's embarrassed in front of everybody. And she said, "What do you mean you want a real wife? How dare you? That's embarrassing. And how could you say something like that and call me and say you want a real wife? I am a real wife. What do you mean by so?" Zied is trying to, he's not trying to backpack off the word, he's trying to define it. So the doctor is like, okay, so he's looking at the interaction between the two of them. And Zied he's saying, okay, so Zied, what do you mean by that? And he's like, I just want a wife who's going to cook for me and, be home. He said, we barely talk to one another. He says she's out of the house 16 hours, up to 16 hours a day. And he wants, what I've heard him trying to say is, I want more of a relationship, an intimate relationship with you where we kicking the bobo. She does like some man, some wealthy man, and throws in his house, in his face, we living on the beach. You have a Mercedes. So now you want to justify or disqualify what he said based on material things. But if a man, if a woman did that to a man, it would be more complicated. And everybody is so scared because she's so brash, she's so hard, that everybody is afraid to talk. And now Shekinah is coming out the back and she said, I can't stand her. Like it or not, I was absolutely with Shekinah. 100%. Yes, she made an inappropriate comment downtown to the bar. But I'm telling you right now, I was 100% with Shekinah. Had I been there, I would have walked across the fire, walked around the fire and high fived her. Rebecca is rude and nasty, and she emasculates her man. And you can see him struggling with her anger. He's struggling with how to articulate what he said. He's trying to keep the peace. He's trying to bring her down the peg, and she is just insufferable. What do you mean? And I mean, and everything is at a 10. Turn the volume down. Turn the volume down. Why are you, why do you have to scream? Is that your way of asserting more dominance? Is that her way of saying he's bigger than me? So I've got to bring him down by the words that I use? Like, what are we doing? Please don't use the R word in my comments, sweetie. Don't do that. This is an open platform. I'm live and I appreciate comments, but don't use that and then have YouTube looking at me and trying to figure out what kind of conversation I'm having. And then they got to review my video because you chose to use that word in my comments. Don't do that. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, but don't set me up like that. Okay? Find another way to say what you want to say without using those kind of words in my comment section. Okay? I don't have that to do. Okay, sweetie? Please and thank you. She sits there and says, I used to be a chef. Okay. And I used to love to cook for him, but he doesn't like the food that I cook. Well, find a chef. If the marriage is that important, find a chef who can teach you how to cook the food that he likes. Try to find somebody. Zied is probably accustomed to a lifestyle. But when Guillermo, was it Guillermo that jumped in and said she needs to work? You looking for this, that, and the other? Stand down. But as soon as Shekinah said something, Rebecca wanted to jump on Shekinah. Now, mind you, Shekinah did say something twice, but what she said wasn't wrong. But because now the spotlight is on you, you're showing up out of the mouth of your husband as a wife who is unable to fulfill her husband's needs. Now you mad, but all of y'all are there because y'all got problems in your relationship. And she keeps going on and on even after the clinician told her there's a better way of asking him what it is that he wants. Zied, what do you mean by that? Can you define that? So he tries to articulate what he means by it, but she's stuck on you said that I wasn't a real wife. You want to use fear and intimidation and scream loud to say something that you should be saying softly. A soft answer and a soft tone will turn away the wrath. Zied is frustrated. Everybody is uncomfortable. You know, when you in a conversation, even if it's a girlfriend and a boyfriend, or just a couple, it makes everybody in the room uncomfortable. everybody in the room uncomfortable. It is one of the most uncomfortable things to be in the middle of somebody's argument. And Shekinah was like, I want to hear more what he said, because of course Rebecca was cutting him off. And then she's telling her, let us handle our business. And Shekinah was like, can you? Can you? She had the balls to say what nobody else was willing to say. Now, every couple's dynamic is different. So I don't get into all of that. I could care less about their the inner workings of their relationship. But when I'm in a room and you make me uncomfortable, then I would be like, Shekinah, the way you talking to him is just unacceptable. Let the man talk. And the counselors have no control over it because they get to walking away. Rebecca coming and walking up on the man like some big bull. She's pampering Zied and giving Zied a Mercedes and putting him at the beach. But why isn't she encouraging Zied to take his big ass out there and get a motherfucking job so he can occupy at least 8 hours a day doing something he want to do? Why is Zied working? Do he got a job? Why is he sitting in the house twiddling his thumb looking at TV and the ocean waves outside and not working and being a productive citizen? Did I miss something? Z has been here long enough to have his green card. Why doesn't he have a job? I ain't heard them talk about that yet. But she seems like she's so controlling that she probably has encouraged him and probably makes him feel like she's not enough if he's working. He need to occupy his mind. He done got all fat again. Put him in the like. Why don't Zied have a job? They get to arguing more because she's still going on with the same thing. And he said, "You see why?" She's asking him a question. She's cutting him off every time he tries to speak. He tell her to stand down. Now she offended, and he said, "You see why I go to Virginia?" I hope if Zied is laying in a woman's arms, that she is allowing him to talk. And why doesn't it appear that Zied is working for Rebecca? He don't have no place of employment, no nothing that I've heard of. I bet you when he go down there to that woman's house, he probably mopping, taking out the trash, doing small repairs in the household. He probably out there taking care of the other woman, taking money out, taking the money out of Rebecca's house and paying her rent. Making sure her kids got toys from the dollar store. Because what you don't take care of, somebody else will. Somebody will be grateful for that big old man, that big old strong man, to come and lift that dresser from one side of the room to the other. I got a couple of girlfriends, that's all they want is a married man. And whatever Z it is, Rebecca made them. I see somebody put right here, Zied is a baby man. Rebecca made that. Zied been over here at least 8, 9 years. If he a baby man, she made it. Thank you so much, NT Gangster One, for your comment, boo. Rebecca did that. And then she rewards his baby behavior with a Mercedes and an oceanfront apartment. Ain't that something? If she wanted that daggone man to be more than what he is, guess what? She could have did that. But instead, she want him under her thumb, in my humble opinion. And she want to talk to him and emasculate him and let him know who in charge. Even when, I'm going to tell you why I say she managed. I'm going to give you another example. She walked up in that bar to Supper, told the girls, get out the way, pushes the girls out the way, and goes and confronts Supper at the bar. And doesn't realize that she's emasculating Zied. Doesn't realize that I need to go to my man and have my man have a conversation with Saba. But no, she gonna go up there and confront the man. That's managed behavior. Now, Zia came across the room because he knows traditionally I should be the one talking to this man. It should be a man on man conversation. But she goes across the room. Was you making jokes about me? I was told you was making jokes about me all day. You accused him of making the jokes. You didn't really ask him. But you so mannish that you will walk up on a man and your husband there and don't consider him, don't bring him in. You walking up on a man. You mannish as hell. Who wants a woman like that? I see why their marriage is messed up. I really, really do. I think that he's trying to hang on, hoping to see a woman on the other end of the stick, but she's very, very masculine, in my humble opinion. Okay. So you see he does have a job. Okay, love you, Auntie. Word on the street is that Zied works as an HVAC technician. Thank you so much. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Tending 8239. Thank you, boo. So I didn't know. Zied been got his green card. He been got that. Yeah, he been got that. Those are my opinions about the show. I don't know how petty and stupid this is going to be when John get there. Is that the Josh? Matt's brother name is Josh. I don't know how stupid and ignorant this is going to become. I don't see if this is their goal to create an atmosphere where these couples mend their relationship while they will bring a brother in. He don't have nothing to do with this. Like nothing to do with this. And I don't see how that is helping. And here's the thing. Not that I'm blaming production or blaming the show, but some people chose to watch Patrick and Thais police cam video. I chose not to watch it. I haven't even really talked about it, I don't believe. Because that's not entertainment for me, especially when there's a baby involved. This is serious life. And maybe if they had in what I would call real therapy, private therapy, maybe they would not, their relationship could have been saved. And if not saved, at least more amicable. So when they put that video footage out there, I did not watch that. Because I don't want to see a family torn apart with a little girl. Patrick was emotional because he talked about his relationship with his parents and how he felt unloved. And children often in relationships like that blame themselves for the demise of their parents' relationship. And I did not want to look at this video through that lens. I did not want to look at it through that lens. I think that as a content creator, I owe it to myself to leave some stuff to the side, to not bring it into today. Now, I know, it was alleged DV and all of that, but I did not watch that. Like, maybe when the season is over, I'll go back and look. But I'm just like, it's a little girl involved in this. And now the kid Patrick's heart, and to see him cry the way that he cried on that show, saying he don't want to even take his baby through that, understood. 100%. I understand. Because it is not easy making a decision to walk away from a relationship and separate a child from the other parent. Been there, done that. It's not easy, no matter what the circumstances are. Oh, what you asking me, boo? Hold on. Auntie, do you think any of these couples are going to stay together long term? I think in real life we realize some of them are not together. Guillermo is not with Cara. Patrick is not with Thais. I don't believe that Paola and Russ are still together. Who else is on there? Jenny Sumit is on there because Jenny ain't gonna go nowhere. She's stuck in India for the rest of her life, I believe. Um, Shekinah and Sopper are still together. I do think that they having issues, but they still together. Who else is on there? I don't know about Rebecca and Zied. I don't know if they still together. But some of them are already not together anymore. Thank you for your question, boo. Oh, they not together since when? Since when did they break up? Let me look it up real quick. Let me look it up. So this is from who's the source? I need this source. So 5 days ago, 90 Day Fiance Shekinah Gardner can't stop watching Sarper's dating life. Shekinah's shocking relationship update, that was May 19th. Shekinah Gardner new dating approach after split. That was 2 weeks ago. This all this stuff is Facebook, and I don't have Facebook. Let me see if I can find a legitimate source. Um, so I see here TV Insider says 90 Day Fiance are Shekinah and Sopper still together. They said there are divorce rumors. Shekinah shaves her head as she confirms that her and Sopper have split. I don't know whether or not, let me just say this. I see these different headlines, and so you probably write about it, but I think a lot of it has to do with selling these tickets. He is supposed to be in New York, and all of the funds that he is going to be raising on behalf of Jenny and Sumit, allegedly. I think that Sauper and Shekinah not being together is more beneficial to his ticket sales, and I don't believe it. But of course, but Tracy Craig 7639. It appears that that's what they're reporting, but I think it's beneficial to them to say that they're not together. Now I don't know. I think so, Tracy Craig. That's what I think. I think it's to sell tickets. And I think that he has to do everything. The two of them need to do everything that can be traced by 90 Day Fiance fans, because there is a fandom and an obsession with them. So I would not be surprised if she goes on a date. I would not be surprised if he went on a date. I would not be surprised if rumor has it and people taking pictures of them dating other people. That would not shock me. It would absolutely sell tickets for Saba. I've been doing this long enough to know that everything you read and everything they put out there, it just ain't true. Or it just may not be true. So, do I think that Shekinah and Sapa would allege not dating? Do I believe that he would make sure that do I believe that he would make sure and she would make sure that their names show up on the dating app to throw people off? Yeah, I think that they would go that far. Because if he was dating, if they were separated and he noticed the show and stuff is filming, why would he ever go on a site with his real picture and his real name? Why would she ever go on a dating app with her real name and a real picture? I think it's all for publicity. It's all to keep people talking. So, uh, I think it's all because when they get back together, then what people gonna say? Okay. I love y'all. I'm gonna hop over here. Members, make sure you got your notification bells on. I'm gonna go and freshen up, and then I'll be in the membership, and we can just go ahead on and have a convo and talk about whatever we're gonna talk about. Love y'all. Bye.